Muscle growth and neural adaptation are deeply interconnected processes, and understanding this relationship is essential for maximizing strength and performance. When you begin resistance training or any form of strength-based exercise, the initial gains are predominantly neural rather than muscular. This is because the brain and nervous system are learning how to recruit muscle fibers efficiently, coordinate motor units, and generate force in a synchronized manner. Motor units, which consist of a motor neuron and the muscle fibers it controls, are not all activated simultaneously. With consistent training, the nervous system improves its ability to activate a higher number of motor units at the right time, increasing strength output even before any visible changes in muscle size occur. This neural learning involves both the recruitment of additional fibers and the timing of their activation, optimizing the efficiency and power of movement. In addition to motor unit recruitment, neural adaptations also include improvements in intermuscular coordination, the ability of different muscles to work together effectively during complex movements. For instance, when performing a compound lift like a squat, the nervous system coordinates the quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and stabilizing muscles to produce smooth, powerful motion. Early gains in strength are often largely attributable to these improvements in coordination as the brain learns to engage the appropriate muscles in the correct sequence. These adaptations are reinforced through repetition as each training session strengthens the neural pathways responsible for the movement patterns, making them faster, more efficient, and more precise. Another critical component of neural adaptation is the reduction of inhibitory signals within the nervous system. The body has built-in protective mechanisms, such as the Golgi tendon organs, which prevent muscles from exerting excessive force that could cause injury. During strength training, repeated exposure to load under controlled conditions reduces the sensitivity of these inhibitory signals, allowing the nervous system to safely generate greater force. This adaptation not only increases strength, but also enhances confidence in performing heavier lifts or more challenging movements, reinforcing motivation and engagement. Neural adaptations also extend to the central nervous system, where the motor cortex and associated areas become more efficient at sending signals to the muscles. Myelination, the process by which neural pathways are insulated to increase signal conduction speed, improves with repeated training, enabling faster and more coordinated muscle contractions. This is why consistent practice, even with submaximal loads, is crucial for building strength. The brain is constantly refining the communication between neurons and muscles, establishing robust pathways that translate directly into improved performance. While visible muscle hypertrophy develops later, the foundation of strength lies in these neural changes. The brain's ability to recruit, coordinate, and time muscular activity determines not only how much weight can be lifted, but also the efficiency of movement patterns, injury resistance, and overall performance. Recognizing this connection underscores the importance of technique, focus, and progressive challenge in training, as the nervous system adapts alongside the muscles to produce optimal strength and functional capacity. By prioritizing both neural efficiency and muscular development, training becomes a comprehensive process in which the brain and body evolve together. The early stages of strength training highlight the power of neural adaptation as the primary driver of initial gains, setting the stage for subsequent hypertrophy and long-term performance improvement. Hormones and neurochemicals are central to building muscle and strength, acting as biochemical signals that drive both physical and neural adaptation. When you engage in resistance training or other forms of high-intensity exercise, the body responds by releasing a cascade of hormones that promote tissue repair, growth, and neural efficiency. Key players include testosterone, growth hormone, and insulin-like growth factor 1, IGF-1, each of which contributes to different aspects of muscle adaptation. Testosterone enhances protein synthesis in muscle fibers, increasing their size and strength potential, while also supporting recovery and reducing fatigue. Growth hormone stimulates cell repair and regeneration, improving recovery time and facilitating hypertrophy. IGF-1, which is produced in response to both growth hormone and mechanical stress, directly activates satellite cells in muscle tissue, enabling repair and expansion of muscle fibers. Together, these hormones create an anabolic environment in which the body can adapt effectively to the demands of training. Neurochemicals such as dopamine and noradrenaline also play a critical role, particularly in motivation, focus, and reward-based learning. Dopamine acts as a signal of salience and reward, enhancing the brain's ability to focus on challenging tasks, sustain effort, and repeat behaviors that produce positive outcomes. During resistance training, the release of dopamine reinforces the association between effort and reward, creating a feedback loop that encourages consistency and persistence. Noradrenaline, released in response to physical stress, heightens alertness, increases blood flow to muscles, and improves motor unit recruitment, allowing for more precise and effective contractions. These neurochemical effects are as important as hormonal influences, as they determine the level of engagement and intensity during workouts, which directly impacts both neural and muscular adaptations. The interplay between hormones and neurochemicals is influenced by training variables such as intensity, volume, and rest periods. High-intensity compound movements that recruit large muscle groups tend to produce the greatest acute hormonal response, while sufficient volume and progressive overload maintain these effects over time. Rest periods between sets allow for partial recovery of energy systems and prevent excessive accumulation of stress hormones, such as cortisol, which can be catabolic and inhibit growth if chronically elevated. Optimizing these variables ensures that anabolic hormones dominate during training and recovery, maximizing both strength gains and hypertrophy. Nutrition and sleep are critical modulators of these hormonal and neurochemical processes. Adequate protein intake provides the building blocks for muscle repair and growth, while carbohydrates and fats support energy availability and hormonal balance. Sleep, particularly deep, slow-wave sleep, is when growth hormone peaks, promoting tissue repair and neural consolidation. Chronic sleep deprivation or poor nutrition can blunt the release of anabolic hormones, impair dopamine signaling, and reduce overall performance, highlighting that training alone is insufficient without supporting physiological systems. Psychological factors also influence hormonal and neurochemical responses. Perceived challenge, self-efficacy, and goal-directed focus enhance dopamine release and engagement, while chronic stress or negative mindset can elevate cortisol, suppress testosterone, and reduce growth hormone output. By intentionally creating training conditions that are motivating, challenging, and achievable, the brain and body are primed to release the optimal combination of hormones and neurochemicals to support both strength and hypertrophy. Through the coordinated actions of hormones and neurochemicals, resistance training induces an environment in which muscle tissue, neural pathways, and motivation co-adapt, reinforcing both physical performance and behavioral consistency. Progressive overload is the cornerstone of building muscle and strength because it continually challenges both the muscular and nervous systems, prompting adaptation over time. The principle of progressive overload is simple in concept but powerful in practice. To grow stronger or larger, muscles must be exposed to a stimulus greater than what they are accustomed to. This can be achieved by increasing resistance, adding repetitions, modifying tempo, or introducing more complex movement patterns. When the body encounters a load beyond its current capacity, it responds by reinforcing neural pathways, recruiting additional motor units, and initiating protein synthesis in muscle fibers, all of which contribute to increased strength and hypertrophy. Without progressive overload, the body adapts to the current demands and growth plateaus, limiting both muscular and neural development. The neural component of progressive overload is particularly important in the early stages of training. When a new stimulus is introduced, the nervous system must learn to coordinate movement, recruit the appropriate motor units, and stabilize joints to manage the increased load safely. Repetition under progressively challenging conditions strengthens these neural circuits, improving efficiency, timing, and force production. This is why initial gains in strength often occur without noticeable changes in muscle size. The brain becomes better at activating existing fibers, optimizing performance, and reducing energy waste. Over time, these neural adaptations lay the foundation for subsequent hypertrophy as the body is able to generate more force and handle greater mechanical stress. Mechanical tension, metabolic stress, and muscle damage all interact under progressive overload to stimulate growth. Increasing weight or resistance creates greater mechanical tension on the fibers, signaling them to adapt structurally through protein synthesis. Higher repetition schemes or shorter rest periods elevate metabolic stress, causing an accumulation of metabolites that contribute to hypertrophic signaling. Controlled microdamage to muscle tissue, induced by challenging training, triggers repair mechanisms that make fibers stronger and larger. Each element works synergistically, and progressive overload ensures that these stimuli continue to push the body beyond its current limits, forcing adaptation rather than allowing stagnation. Rest and recovery are critical to the effectiveness of progressive overload. While the stimulus during training is necessary to initiate adaptation, the actual growth and strengthening occur during recovery periods. Sleep, proper nutrition, and adequate rest between sessions allow muscles to repair, hormones to optimize, and neural circuits to consolidate motor learning. Overloading without recovery can lead to fatigue, impaired performance, and increased risk of injury, demonstrating that progressive challenge must be paired with restoration to maximize gains safely. Tracking progress is essential in applying progressive overload effectively. Incremental increases in weight, repetitions, or complexity should be documented to ensure consistent progression and to avoid plateaus. Variations in exercise selection, tempo, or range of motion can also serve as forms of overload, stimulating the muscles and nervous system in new ways. This deliberate planning ensures that the body continually encounters novel challenges, reinforcing neural pathways, promoting muscular adaptation, and preventing stagnation. Progressive overload exemplifies how structured, incremental challenge drives adaptation in both the brain and body. By consistently increasing demands while balancing recovery, the nervous system becomes more efficient, muscles grow stronger and larger, and the capacity to achieve higher levels of performance expands. Recovery is an essential component of building muscle and strength, and it is during periods of rest that the body consolidates the adaptations initiated by training. When muscles are subjected to resistance or high-intensity exercise, micro-damage occurs in the fibers, and the nervous system experiences intense signaling as it learns to recruit motor units efficiently. Recovery allows the body to repair this damage, strengthen neural pathways, and optimize hormonal and metabolic conditions for growth. Without adequate recovery, the stress imposed by training can become maladaptive, increasing the risk of overtraining, injury, and performance plateaus. Understanding that adaptation occurs between sessions rather than solely during them reframes recovery as an active, critical element of strength development rather than a passive pause. Sleep is one of the most influential factors in recovery because it regulates both hormonal and neural processes essential for muscle growth and strength. During deep, slow-wave sleep, growth hormone peaks, stimulating protein synthesis, tissue repair, and satellite cell activation within muscle fibers. Sleep also facilitates neural consolidation, allowing motor learning and coordination patterns practiced during training to become more efficient and automatic. Inadequate sleep reduces these critical processes, suppressing growth hormone release, impairing neural efficiency, and diminishing both strength and hypertrophy over time. Quality sleep, therefore, functions as a biological amplifier of training stimulus, integrating muscular and neural adaptation into lasting performance improvements. Nutrition plays a complementary role by supplying the raw materials needed for repair and adaptation. Protein intake provides amino acids that are directly incorporated into muscle tissue, while carbohydrates replenish glycogen stores depleted during training, providing energy for recovery and subsequent sessions. Fats are essential for hormonal balance, supporting testosterone and cortisol regulation, which influence both muscle growth and stress responses. Timing and quality of nutrition also matter. Consuming protein and carbohydrates after training enhances muscle protein synthesis and facilitates recovery, while overall caloric balance ensures that the body has sufficient energy to support anabolic processes. Hydration and electrolyte balance are often overlooked but are crucial for recovery as well. Water supports nutrient transport, neural signaling, and metabolic reactions required for repair and adaptation. Electrolytes maintain cellular function and prevent disruptions in muscle contraction and nerve conduction. Dehydration or electrolyte imbalances can reduce performance in subsequent sessions, impair recovery, and hinder both neural and muscular adaptation, emphasizing that recovery encompasses the full spectrum of physiological systems. Active recovery strategies further enhance the restorative process. Light movement, stretching, mobility work, and low-intensity cardiovascular activity increase blood flow to muscles, accelerating nutrient delivery and waste removal. These activities also help maintain neural engagement and motor pattern reinforcement, ensuring that efficiency gained during training is not lost. Incorporating structured rest days alongside active recovery balances the demands of progressive overload with the necessity of physiological restoration. Psychological recovery is also critical. Stress reduction, mindfulness, and periods of relaxation help regulate cortisol, reduce sympathetic nervous system overactivity, and improve focus and motivation for future training sessions. Mental restoration supports the neurochemical environment necessary for reward signaling, motivation, and sustained engagement with the training process. By integrating sleep, nutrition, hydration, active recovery, and psychological rest, the body and nervous system consolidate training adaptations, allowing for increased strength, muscle growth, and performance. Recovery is not merely downtime, but an active, multifaceted process that transforms training stimulus into lasting physiological and neural changes. Mental resilience develops alongside physical strength, and the process of building muscle provides a unique framework for cultivating discipline, perseverance, and self-regulation. Strength training consistently challenges both the body and the mind, requiring individuals to push through discomfort, maintain focus, and commit to incremental progress over time. These experiences create repeated opportunities for the brain to learn that effort leads to measurable results, reinforcing neural pathways associated with motivation, goal setting, and delayed gratification. Each successful repetition, set, or progression strengthens the connection between effort and reward, enhancing the ability to tackle challenges both inside and outside the gym. The incremental nature of strength training teaches patience and persistence. Unlike sudden or dramatic changes, physical adaptation occurs gradually, requiring consistent practice and attention to detail. Muscles and neural pathways adapt over weeks and months, and the brain learns to tolerate short-term discomfort for long-term gain. This process reinforces executive functions such as planning, self-monitoring, and impulse control, as individuals must adhere to structured programs, track progress, and adjust intensity or technique over time. By engaging in repeated cycles of effort and reflection, the brain develops resilience, cultivating the ability to persist through challenges that might otherwise feel overwhelming. Facing physical limits during training also strengthens emotional regulation. Attempting a new lift, pushing to failure, or handling unexpected fatigue triggers stress responses in the body, activating the sympathetic nervous system. Successfully navigating these moments without giving in to frustration or fear trains the prefrontal cortex to regulate limbic reactivity, improving the capacity to remain calm, focused, and strategic under pressure. Over time, these learned patterns generalize beyond the gym, enhancing stress tolerance, decision-making, and emotional stability in daily life. Goal setting and strength training reinforces mental resilience by providing clear, measurable targets that create a sense of purpose and direction. Whether the objective is lifting a specific weight, performing additional repetitions, or improving technique, setting and achieving incremental goals produces tangible feedback, activating dopaminergic reward circuits. These neurochemical signals reinforce the connection between effort, achievement, and motivation, strengthening both behavioral consistency and self-efficacy. This practice of structured goal pursuit translates directly to life skills, enhancing the ability to approach personal, academic, or professional challenges with confidence and persistence. Overcoming setbacks is another critical aspect of resilience development. Plateaus, minor injuries, or days of low performance are inevitable in strength training. Learning to navigate these setbacks without abandoning progress reinforces adaptive coping mechanisms and encourages problem solving. By approaching challenges analytically, adjusting training variables, seeking guidance, or modifying strategy, the brain strengthens circuits associated with flexible thinking and perseverance. These experiences teach that temporary obstacles are part of the growth process, cultivating a mindset oriented toward learning and improvement rather than avoidance or discouragement. The combination of repeated effort, goal-directed action, emotional regulation, and adaptive problem-solving fosters a holistic form of resilience. Physical training acts as a live laboratory in which the brain practices persistence, tolerance of discomfort, and strategic adaptation. This neural and psychological reinforcement ensures that the mental habits cultivated through strength training extend into broader aspects of life, promoting confidence. Discipline building muscle and strength provides a blueprint for life because the principles applied in training, intentional effort, feedback, progressive challenge, and adaptation translate directly into personal growth, goal achievement, and long-term resilience. Strength training is not simply about moving weights. It is a disciplined process that teaches how to plan, execute, evaluate, and adjust behavior to produce measurable results. The deliberate structure of training programs mirrors the process required to tackle life goals. Set clear objectives, break them into manageable steps, apply consistent effort, monitor progress, and adjust strategies in response to feedback. By internalizing this process, the brain develops cognitive frameworks that support sustained focus, problem solving, and adaptive behavior in complex, real-world scenarios. One of the most powerful lessons of strength training is the concept of incremental progress. Muscular and neural adaptations occur gradually, often imperceptibly on a daily basis, but cumulatively they produce significant change over weeks and months. This principle teaches patience, persistence, and the value of consistent effort, mental habits that are essential for pursuing long-term goals in any domain. By experiencing firsthand that small, deliberate actions compounded over time yield meaningful results, individuals cultivate confidence in their capacity to influence outcomes, reinforcing self-efficacy and a growth-oriented mindset. Another critical parallel between strength training and life is the role of challenge and feedback. In the gym, progressively heavier weights or more complex movements provide constant feedback about the body's current capabilities, highlighting strengths, weaknesses, and areas for improvement. This feedback loop drives adaptation, ensuring that effort is directed effectively and results are measurable. In life, similar feedback mechanisms, whether from personal reflection, mentorship, or real-world outcomes, allow individuals to recalibrate strategies, refine skills, and optimize performance. Strength training instills familiarity and comfort with structured feedback, teaching the brain to interpret challenges as opportunities for growth rather than threats to competence. Discipline and consistency developed through training also have broad applications. The commitment to showing up, adhering to a program, and completing challenging sessions reinforces prefrontal circuits responsible for executive function, impulse control, and long-term planning. These neural adaptations enhance the ability to prioritize, resist short-term distractions, and persist through discomfort, qualities that are essential for achieving professional, academic, or personal objectives. The repeated practice of setting intentions, taking action, and adjusting behavior strengthens these circuits, embedding adaptive patterns that extend beyond the gym. Experiencing setbacks during training, such as plateaus, fatigue, or minor injuries, teaches resilience and adaptive problem solving. Learning to navigate these obstacles without giving up strengthens coping mechanisms, fosters creative strategies, and reinforces the principle that challenges are a necessary component of growth. Translating this mindset to life encourages persistence, flexibility, and confidence in overcoming uncertainty or adversity. Finally, strength training provides a tangible measure of progress and accomplishment. Unlike abstract goals, improvements in strength, endurance, or technique are concrete and measurable, reinforcing the connection between deliberate effort and visible outcomes. This reinforces the brain's reward systems, solidifies motivation, and models a reliable framework for pursuing complex, long-term objectives in life. By internalizing the principles of deliberate effort, progressive challenge, feedback, and adaptation, strength training becomes more than a physical practice. It becomes a roadmap for personal growth, resilience, and mastery over life's challenges. And the capacity to pursue long-term objectives. By consistently applying the lessons learned through strength training, patience, persistence, adaptive problem solving, and deliberate effort, these principles extend far beyond physical performance. The brain and body become attuned to incremental progress, structured feedback, and goal-directed action, creating a blueprint for approaching life's challenges with confidence and resilience. Over time, this integration of physical discipline, mental focus, and adaptive learning equips individuals to pursue long-term objectives, overcome obstacles, and forge a life path defined by growth, mastery, and sustained achievement.